Hello, everybody. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us again for another week of Bar Arduino Worldwide. I know it looks like I'm by myself, but I will bring Massimo on with us.
Oh. Hello, I'm Massimo. Sorry, I'm not Massimo Banzi. I'm sorry. This is probably like a horrible surprise to many of you. Yeah, it's I'm sorry to say, but Massimo is not feeling well today, and I'm very proud of stepping in. I'm gonna try and fill those shoes. I think it's like a 47, 12 and a half or something. I mean, it's big shoes to fill. So it's nice to be with you, Benedetta. I always secretly wanted to.
I think you made it happen. I think
always wanted to. It took me, how do you say, praying the gods of back pain is not an easy task. Massimo, we really, really miss you, and I really hope I'm not here next week, because this is the second week in a row. And at some point, after 7 days, the guest is like fish, starts smelling.
I can smell it from here. So
yeah, definitely. So, how you doing, Benny? How was your week?
Good. Week was good, busy. School is winding down. And I don't know if it was in other parts of the world, but over here this past Sunday was Mother's Day. So my thoughts go to all the moms out there that are stemming really hard with their kids right now at home. So yeah, keep up the good fight. So that was my weekend. And now we're gearing up towards today is actually the end of the year show for all the students in the program I teach at NYU. And so after everybody hangs up here, they should go and hang out on idm.show and see some work live. So I'll put it in the chat as well.
Very nice. idm.show almost looks like an EDM techno party.
Yeah, like some, I feel like there's a lot of themes going on.
Student shows are usually quite unpredictable. I ended up at a show here. There is the Rietveld Academy. That was many years ago. I was teaching with Luna Maurer, like a course. We were basically introducing Arduino into a graphic design course. And I don't know if you know Luna Maurer, but she and Wouter, they run this Moniker studio.
Yeah.
They made some incredible stuff. So they basically invited me to teach Arduino to their students. And we did this course, this 1 week intensive week with Arduino, everything around reinventing the wheel. So it was all about motors. But we went to run the show. And why I say it was unpredictable, because at some point in the middle of the show, it wasn't my students. There was a cabinet. So from inside this cabinet, some crying and shouting was coming, right? So I open and I find this young woman completely naked, covered in cold cut. So imagine this woman.
A young woman?
Yes, like a young naked woman covered in prosciutto. And I was, what am I looking at? And I closed it back. So it was artsy in a way.
Yeah, but you know what? At least there was no fear of it not working. I feel like the rule of, end of year shows is like everything that worked up until 5 minutes before it opens won't work right after. So
yeah, the funniest thing was that the way that she replenished the prosciutto was she opened the bottom drawer of this cabinet and picked it up and put it on her body. I wasn't shocked because, living in Amsterdam, you see a lot of weird stuff. But I think, she kind of accomplished. She pushed the envelope, the prosciutto envelope.
That's what I should have in my kitchen.
All right.
It's a human prosciutto dispenser.
Wow. Yeah. Sometimes I see that you post pictures of, stuff that comes from Italy.
I'm from Parma, so I can't deny my DNA.
The slicing god. So I actually look forward to seeing what your students have been up to. I had pretty boring week, because it's not that I'm boring, that it's a boring week, but I've been doing a lot of nitpicking stuff, fixing PR on GitHub, a lot of work. Yeah, I really very much enjoy working with the CLI team, and I don't want to say CLI again, but I said it enough.
You should. We're looking for, some T-shirt or banner that says it too.
No, actually, the T-shirt that we should make, the next one should be "Stemming Hard." You just said it, to all the moms who are stemming hard at home. We should totally make it
a real thing.
Stemming hard, and at the back, real hard. So I think we could totally make that. All right. So tonight we have 2 guests, not 3. We're trying to shuffle things up a little.
Yeah, this gives them a little bit more time. We're always kind of rushing and trying to get through everything. So
yeah,
it'll be a nice change of pace.
Our producer, she's very merciful, but I can understand that, like doing 2 shows in 2 days in a row till late, at least you and I kind of, mingle and exchange roles, but for her, it's a lot of work. And actually, I mean, people probably think that we just come in here and start talking, which is 99.7% true.
Accurate.
But there's a lot of preparation. We do a lot of meetings, and nowadays, I don't know how many you do a day, Benny, but there's a lot of Zooming.
There's a lot of Zooming.
There's way too much Zooming.
A lot of Zooming.
Okay, so I am trying to be... when I say filling Massimo's shoes, it also means talking a lot. So Benny, anytime, just mute me. You have the power to mute me.
Do I?
Look.
I didn't do it though.
No, I did it, but you can do it.
Yes, that's awesome.
We should totally try this. Okay, we have 2 guests. One is Italian, and actually it's so funny we keep bringing Italian people that live abroad. With incredible content. I am so happy that we managed to have these people get in touch with us or being suggested by our friends. And then we have another friend from somewhere else in Europe. It's not Italy. And he's going to be the person who basically gives a name to our discount code. So tonight... the discount code, if you order on our store...
I can't. Now you switched it.
No, look, I'm trying. I don't know what it is. It's here. So I can eat. The discount code is Poland. So our guest is from Poland, and he's going to talk to us about their incredibly beautiful and detailed installations with sound and light. We're not going to give it away. I mean, if you go on Instagram and on our Twitter, who it is. We're just not going to say it. There's going to be sound, lights, weird interactive stuff, and microcontrollers. That said, I think we actually managed to talk BS for about 8 minutes.
I think we could, I think you and I could BS for like 2 hours.
Honestly, I was worried I didn't have anything to say, but yeah. Now I understand why my mom at some point said, no, you should go study in Milan, 970 kilometers away. All right, Benny, I'm going to leave you. So we have the discount code. I'm going to pay a lot of attention to what our producer tells me behind the scenes. I want to do this right. So discount code goes, I'm going to go away.
You're going to leave me alone.
Yeah, I'm going to leave you alone in really good company, actually.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
The stage is yours.
Thank you. Well, I'm actually going to pass it off really quickly. This is super exciting because I get to meet all sorts of amazing women through this process. So here's an amazing woman for you. I'm introducing Giulia Tomasello, and she's here to talk to us about her interaction design projects, which are, again, actually very, very close, hit very close to home with the fact that a lot of them have to do with women's health. So I'm going to leave it up to you because I don't want to destroy, presenting your projects. But yeah, feel free to, share what you've been working on.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so hello everybody. Hello to the whole Arduino community. So I'm Giulia Tomasello and I'm an interaction designer. I'm going to go directly with the slide. So yeah, I'm an interaction designer. I'm Italian, but at the moment I'm living a bit everywhere because I've been living in London for many years, and now I'm quite nomadic for my work. So I work in different fields as a designer. So I work in the field of biohacking, which is kind of this discipline of growing and hacking microorganisms and living materials. And then I'm working in the field of wearable computing, which is something that probably it's very closer to the Arduino world. So actually I started with Arduino, and it's really like working with wearables and fabrics that can interact between the body and the environment. And then I work in the field of digital fabrication, which is probably very familiar to you. So in spaces like maker spaces and hacker spaces, where you can work with machines like 3D printing, CNC, laser cutting. And then I'm working with another discipline, which is bioculture, which is something where probably emotions come in. So where you're really kind of nurturing and growing a living organism to then use it as your material as a designer. And I combine all these technologies in the women's healthcare, and specifically really trying to tackle like what are the women's social taboo in our society. And this picture is from the 1970s, when women in Boston were trying to really democratize many of the taboos that are in the society. So from menstruation, giving birth, sexual health. And I guess that we can argue that it's probably happening also now. So this is what I'm really trying to work on, to really apply technology to break this taboo. And those are a few of my works where I'm going through to explain you quickly. But what I do, it's really question and communicate the boundaries between technologies and our bodies. So this is how I started to work with Arduino. I studied product design in Milan, and I wanted to graduate with a project, but I knew I wanted to have it interactive, and I didn't really know how. And then somebody introduced me, my actually professor introduced me to the Studio Todo and Giorgio Olivero, which he told me, you know, Arduino actually is open source, so try yourself to make it happen. And so I kind of, like as a stubborn student, like studied by my own Arduino, and I managed in 1 year to make this course set. So this is an interactive course set that is able to catch the movement of your breath, of the user breath. And if you're breathing with the diaphragm, is inflating. And you can find it actually also on the Arduino blog, all the description and links. So this is how it looks inside. And imagine that I was studying product design, so I used to work with wood and metal, and I was not familiar with like paper model and like building like something very difficult actually, as it could be a course. So I got some help. But the structure of the circuit, like as you can see, it's really prototyped by me. So we have a belt with a textile stretch sensor, which actually you can't really see at the moment on the right. And then the circuit is made with a LilyPad Arduino, which is an Arduino that is designed for the wearable. So actually, instead of connecting the little cables, you can sew it and connect the different components. And then I had a LilyPad vibe board, and in the middle, a Nitinol spring, which is a shape memory alloy. Basically, this spring is able to memorize a certain movement and a certain actually shape. And so in my case, I for example, recorded a 2 centimeter shape, and I stretched it to 10. So what happened is that if I was breathing with the diaphragm, so using my belly instead of my chest, the stretch sensor was taking the signal and was sending the signal to the LilyPad. The LilyPad was sending the signal to the Nitinol, and the Nitinol was going to shrink, and in that way actually inflate the corset. And one of the best part that I had, the fun actually that I had in making this project, was to really kind of document it. And here is where I started to really also get to know the community of Arduino, because all these little videos where actually I got mentored to kind of do them, because it was really an approach to start to share technology with the community or with the online web, and also show how I, for example, approached technology, and why not that other people could approach different. So this, you can find it on my Vimeo account. And that was actually in 2013. Then a year later, in 2014, I developed this 3D printed shoe called Feel, and it was a collaboration with an architect, Alessandra. So it was a kind of very remote project and very quick prototyping. It was 3 months. She was in Brazil, I was in UK, and we wanted to make this shoe that was able to catch the temperature of outside and responding back. So for example, if outside it was cold, the temperature sensor was catching the temperature, sending the signal to the micro Arduino in this case, just because of course the shoe is smaller, so we needed something smaller. And then was sending the signal to a Peltier module that was giving, for example, warm air. And on the opposite, if outside was warm, the cell was giving cold air to the foot and to the whole body. And the nice part it was that she developed the 3D drawing, and then she sent it to me. I went to Milan, and I went to WeMake, which is one of the maker space in Milan, where they work with prototyping and Arduino and e-textiles actually. And I 3D printed the shoe. I assembled it, I made a circuit, and then 1 month later we met at the Maker Fair in Rome. And it was quite funny because actually me and Alessandra, we only met once, and then the second time was directly at the Maker Fair. But we really enjoyed this way of remotely prototyping and just make something that it could work, even though the shoe, as you can see, is not really wearable, but it kind of gives the sense of what it could be in the future. And then I kind of moved away from the wearable and the too hard technology, and I started to work in a different field. So I went into a biolab. This in particular is the biohack space in London, and was based actually in Hackney. Now it's not there anymore, and it was just a little room where you could work with biology. So if you are an amateur and not really like a biologist, but just like me, somebody passionate about biology and design and technology, you could just go there and try to actually learn something new. And so I found myself in this multidisciplinary environment where I just kind of got excited, and I started to work with bacteria. So I started to grow bacteria. In the beginning, I was growing them in my room, which probably is not something I'm suggesting, but it was my student approach back in 2015 in London when I was studying my master at Central St. Martin's. And I was really growing textile and bacteria to try to see if they could merge together and how and until which point. And by growing them, I also wanted to see like this knowledge of citizen science. So how really like me as a citizen, as a person, I could really approach and become and have knowledge on science, on something that probably I didn't study, but still I can have the knowledge of doing it. And this kind of discourse also covered the whole DIY, so the do-it-yourself philosophy, where now like there are so many things online that you can really learn by yourself, and the all open source also philosophy of the community, where you're really sharing what you're learning and create something new. So I wanted to create a bioconductive skin here. So I was really hacking Arduinos actually and put it and kind of melt Arduino in the kombucha. And kombucha is like is a yeast growing with the fermentation of vinegar, sugar, and tea. And I was really kind of combining this kombucha with the electronic particle, try to make a circuit, and then I moved to something like a conductive tattoo, which actually I ran it through an event. But it was really trying to explore this field of symbiosis between bacteria and our human body and the technology in between. And then somehow the women's health came back. And so I applied all these knowledges in the intimate care. And this is actually a project which I'm just going to say a little word. So it's called Future Flora. And I really tried, ask myself, what if we would wear bacteria to empower women? And I'm going to leave it like that. So actually, if you want to see more, you can find it later in my website. And there is a documentary about, there is a lot. But from this project, which this project really allows women also to be participant in this world of science and technology that probably we don't really used to see ourselves in this world. I moved to Alma, and Alma is my current project, which I'm working on. And it's a wearable biosensor designed for monitoring vaginal fluids. So is monitoring vaginal fluids to try to prevent early bacterial vaginosis. And you can find, again, the whole description in axer.io, which, again, is like another platform like Arduino, the Arduino blog, where people like me are sharing, like in an open source way, their design project. And at the moment, it's actually funded by the European Commission with Horizon 2020 in a project called Reframe. So I'm actually now englobated in this funding, where there is a company from Germany, Fraunhofer, which is helping me to really prototype the idea. And why I'm working on this is because actually the 75% of women can suffer a vaginal infection in their life, at least once in their life. And this 80% can be actually with a recurrent infection. And what we are developing is this biosensor that could monitor pH and lactic acid from vaginal fluid and then send a signal to the user phone to say, hey, actually your pH is changing. And if you have also symptoms, maybe it could be an infection coming. So we are really trying to develop a wearable, flexible PCB that it could be probably washable, reusable, and we are really working now on the connection part. So if it's going to be a Bluetooth, if it's going to be an RFID, because of course we are talking about an intimate area, and so far we can also say that we don't really see smart underwear that are covering this part of the body with technology. Or if we do, we see it more for training the pelvic floor, which still is different. And what we're really doing as a work in progress now is we are building the prototype. So actually we are prototyping again with a lily pad to try to understand like the value of the pH sensor that we are fabricating in the lab, and to see like how comfort it could be, where is going to be placed this microcontroller. We are also developing, like in the lower picture, something like a little bit low tech. So it's not going to be with technology, but it is like a biotextile based on agar-agar that is going to change with a color pH. So there is a lot going on, and I'm also writing blogs. So please, if you want to know more, just follow me somehow or stalker me, I don't know. And another beautiful part is that I'm working with women. I'm sorry for this slide, but basically I'm trying to develop a language to really understand why it's still a taboo. And so I'm working with women from all over the world. I'm running workshop in Brazil, Thailand, Malaysia, Switzerland, Italy, to really develop the methodologies around the intimate care. So actually, this is a call. If you are part of a women community, and if you would like to collaborate with me to develop Alma for us, just let me know. And another short call is this survey. So as we know now, we are kind of limited in moving. So actually, I moved all the educational part that I'm doing with the workshop on an online survey, which again, you can find it also in my website. And it's made for people with vaginal fluids. And it's really kind of based on education and also questions, really trying to understand how we can develop technology for intimate healthcare. And so lastly, as a designer, to also survive, I'm teaching. So Coded Buddies is my teaching platform where I'm teaching basic of Arduino coding, and then how to move from a hard circuit, so from a button, to a soft circuit, so to a push button made of electronic textile. And it's really like sometimes it can last 5 days, even less. And at the end, we are really kind of going through like developing an interactive wearable prototype. And in this lesson, it's very funny because all the time, like really the part of the open source and the community of Arduino jump in as a kind of 2-hour lesson, only that part, because I really want to every time let the students understand that there is somebody that can help and that can support them even when they are home trying by themselves how to really make a LED blinking or something, or buzzer working. So they are not alone and we are not alone. And talking about this community, I'm actually part of a bigger community in the e-textile field, and it's called e-textile summer camp. So we actually meet every summer, either in France, New York, or Taiwan, to really collaborate and work on electronic textiles. So it's a really kind of collaborative field, and in a week we give workshops to each other. We prepare samples that we just share from projects that we've developed through a year, and we are coming from all over the world. We are e-textile practitioners, but each of us with a different background, and this is the beauty also of this community, which is more a family. And this is what I believe. The technology is getting closer and closer to our skin. I don't know really how. This is what I'm trying to develop. And yeah, thank you very much. I'm done.
Amazing. I could just listen to that. I'm so curious.
All right. I hope you don't mind me barging in. Actually, okay. Amazing projects. Your Nitinol dress very much reminded me of Hussein Shalayan, who you most likely know. I remember seeing one of his projects and I couldn't figure out what he used. And then I discovered Nitinol. Mind blowing. Beautiful work, really. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, let's see if there are questions. We have a lot of really nice comments that I've been overlaying.
Yeah.
We have Emma, who was a guest last night. I don't know if Giulia, you ever met Emma Pareschi. She's currently in Amsterdam. She has been managing the Fab Lab and works on a lot of interesting projects. So she was here with us last night. And what else?
I agree that this is I agree with that comment about women empowerment. I mean, you're taking stuff that's taboo and that also I feel like most women might not actually know about themselves and kind of turning it around, which is incredible.
Well, it's really trying to cover that gap that is in our education with why not technology. Since we are really moving forward and quite quick with the technology, why not really to empower us with that?
It was very interesting that we had Alice Stewart, was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And she does this incredible workshop in which basically she teaches programming and electronics to women by basically teaching them how to build sex toys, and she gifted me one. They're so pretty and pink and purple, very beautiful design with copper. So, I mean, she's really artsy. So I very much enjoyed her participation. And I think there's more and more of these projects, it's still kind of very much a taboo. I see it as somebody who's been raised by women. I'm the only man in my whole family, basically.
I fell down.
Oh, you disappeared? Okay.
Over here.
No, you're back. So, no, you're still there.
We got you. You just froze for a second.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I think, she froze again. We can hear you. Okay. All right. This was.
I love it.
Wait. Let me try to.
We can bring her back.
Yeah. Okay. Let me try. Yeah. She has something. Oh my God. She was so disappointed.
I know, it was like right at the moment where everybody's just praising her for.
Yeah, exactly. She's back. She's back. All right. So let's see. We're gonna bring you back in. Okay. Yes.
Sorry, I fell down.
No, that's fine. Actually, funny thing, we could still hear you, and you didn't cuss, which we're amazed at. Can you imagine?
No.
Yeah. But yeah, as I was saying, I'm the only man in the whole family, like boy in the family. I have 2 sisters and I had 4 cousins, like they're all women. So I was raised and slapped into the right pathway by women my whole life.
No, impossibile.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
Giulia.
no, we still have you, Giulia. Okay. No, we lost her. We lost her again. All right. So, well, she's gonna be back with us at the end of the show.
Yeah, we can. I have some questions for her. So when she gets back,
yeah, we can shift them as soon as she makes it in. All right. So let's mid-show break. I'm gonna do the one who does the administration. So
I can't do that job. So
no, you can totally do that job, and you know. It's just that I am obsessed with all these things, and I wrote a funny one actually. I hope it's funny. So if you want to participate and talk about your projects, send an email to bar@arduino.cc, and you'll be able to say, I went to Bar Arduino and all I got was this lousy t-shirt. Because nobody will believe me when I say this again, I still don't have a Bar Arduino t-shirt, right? Benedetta has it. Massimo has it. Pretty much everyone and their mothers
have
have it.
on the show.
It's like, yeah, you know, like people. I saw a dog on the street with a Bar Arduino t-shirt, and I don't have one. So I'm pretty bummed.
If you stick around, maybe.
Yeah, maybe if I get enough seniorship inside Arduino, I'll get one. So that's the way to participate. So if you send us your an email. We pick the projects that we like the most. Of course, we want to diversify. So the weirdest your project, the easiest it is, it ends up here. And we give you a free t-shirt. People always write to us, you know, how do we get this t-shirt? One more thing is that let's remind our friends again that tonight, the discount code, if you buy for the next 24 hours or 48 or 72, I never know how long, last, but you can use the discount code Poland, all caps, so Poland. What else do I have to say? So the banner is there. Yeah, most importantly, so we're still new at this. We've been which episode is this one? 5th?
5?
Yeah, something like it. Yeah, 5, which means starting from array base 0 is probably the 6th episode.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
I love this freaking nerds. You know, like where is the nerd alert? It's like, oh, this is the wrong one. I can never find. Yeah, this is the nerd alert
for verse 0.
We can't start him from 0. You know, so that's our thing. Just accept it. We're still new at this, so I'm actually very new at this. And I would like to see what people think about it. So if you want to leave some suggestions in the comments down there, in a few days, you're going to be able to find kind of a better descriptions of the participants, their projects, links, and everything. So we're just a team of a few people. Just bear with us. I mean, I think it's still a fun show to watch. Right, Benny?
Okay, we're getting our act together.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So again, discount code Poland. And Benny, I'm like, do you mind if I take the second guest?
Sure.
I'm a total fan.
I know you're a fan. Fine. I'll just watch it from behind the scenes.
Thank you so much. I'll see you in a few minutes.
Thank you.
All right. So discount code Poland. We need to bring a Polish person on the show. I mean, there we have it. So mostly unpronounceable to everyone but Polish people. Krzysztof, which tells us just call me Chris. It's easier. From Poland. Chris, welcome. Thank you so much for accepting the invitation.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for being a fan. It's very humbling for me because I was following you on Instagram, looking at your Fusion 360 experiments, stuff like that. Yeah, and then I think I also showed your feed on my class.
Oh wow!
My students, and I was trying to find something to show them why Fusion 360 is great, but I had hard time scrolling through all the cat pictures and the bread
And
pictures.
the bread and the cakes. Yeah, I know. Everybody has the same
Yeah.
problem. There's way too much cats on my feed. And funny thing, I think I follow more cats account than people account. So I gotta do something about it. Chris, you are part of a collective of artists and engineers and musicians and light makers. So
like generally crazy people.
a lot of crazy people, and your work has been, like I bumped into your last work, which is Wall of Sound, right? Is it?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that mostly.
Yeah. And I bumped into it, and I immediately brought it into our Slack channel and said, "We need to talk to these guys." It was, and we posted your work right away internally. So if you want to share your screen, I really very much look forward to you talking about your projects and what panGenerator does. Sorry. Okay, so this is your screen. The stage is yours. Thank you.
Yeah. So as Ubi said, my name is Krzysztof, which is generally a Polish version of Christopher, and I'm a part of panGenerator Collective, and we have two Krzysztofs actually. So the man on the right is Krzysztof Goliński, our composer, our musician, the brain of the audio stuff. Then there is Peter. And he's the most engineeringly skilled person in our team, because he did a course on automation and robotics. Then there is Jacob, who's a very talented graphic designer and industrial designer, but he was studying psychology. And then there's me, and I did a course on I did a computer science course at the university in multimedia and AI, and then I decided to switch into art. So I was studying art at Academy of Fine Arts in Warsaw. So this is us. There are four of us, and we were founded almost 10 years ago. We will have 10th birthday in August.
Wow.
And we are a new media art and design collective. So we do mostly installations that are around sound, or making sounds, or analyzing sounds. Really like electronic music, and this can be seen, I think, in our works. So during this time, this 10 years, we did some amazing things together, and we are starting to being recognized and awarded sometimes. So our biggest success is the Creative Cannes Lions Golden Lion 2 or 3 years ago. And last year we had our piece at Ars Electronica. So I think these are our biggest achievements. And what else? We met in 2010 at this very unique event in Poland, which was Media Lab Camp near Opole, a small town down south. And we met there, and we decided to do something together. And the first project we did together is this. This is Dodecaudion. And we were thinking about musicians these days and DJs when they are playing music. Actually, you don't see that. They can be, I don't know, playing solitaire or something. It's like so not performative, and we wanted to change that. So we designed this 12-sided instrument with distance sensors. And the thing on the left is the first prototype, and this is how we started. And you will see how we evolved. We learned a lot on our way. So this was a musical controller, a spatial musical controller that allowed you to play music, to perform live with your movement, with I don't know, body language, this kind of thing. The next, these are all our projects. Maybe I will tell you more about how I started with Arduino, because I have
Please do.
One of my oldest Arduinos, the DS1000. Ubi has nicer ones and a lot of them, but
well, I have the colored ones, but those are limited edition. Not everybody has many of this.
Yeah, and I'm really proud of that, because I think it was one of the first Arduinos in Poland.
Wow.
Probably the rest of the Arduinos that were in Poland were owned by people who attended the Media Lab camp I mentioned. So that was really ancient times. It was I don't know, probably 12 years ago or something like that.
It was the beginning. It was the beginning, really. Wow.
Yeah. I think the only place you could buy that to send that into Poland was SparkFun. I really love them still, but there are a lot of resellers of Arduino in Poland right now, so it's really easier to get Arduino
definitely
right now.
Yeah, the times have changed finally.
yeah.
All right.
So I think I will just tell you how I got my knowledge that Arduino exists. I was an exchange student in Leeds in UK around I don't know, 2001 or 2, and I had lots of time there, and I was going to bookshops, stuff like that, and I found this book, and this book changed my life.
Oh my God, I lost it. Yeah. I lost it. I had it since 2000, I think, when I bought it, and I lost it during one of the multiple moves that I've done in my life, and I'm so bummed because it was the original first press.
Yeah, I think that's the most important book in my life, because I just found it, then I was hooked on creative coding, and I got into processing, and I still use processing almost every week.
But so
did you changed my life. And then I switched my interest from advertising, computer science to art, and Arduino was like automatically the weapon of choice.
Yes.
Yeah. So
yes, Chris, did you ever get to program any DBN?
I don't think so.
Yeah, DBN is basically what I started. Processing didn't exist, and I found out through some friends.
It's design by numbers. Yeah. I read about it, but I never tried that.
No, my friends at Limite a Zero in Milan, they were using it, and they got me into it. And then after, out of DBN from Maeda came basically
the diploma of Casey Rees and Ben Fry.
Yeah.
I think DBM is like, for processing, is like wiring for Arduino, right?
It's well, actually, funny thing, there are two concurrent projects. It's they all originate from the same period and the same people. Yeah. So it's weird. All right, what else? Please tell us more. We want to see more.
So a selection of 3 of our projects. At the end, I will show you a link to our website, because to all of our projects we have great documentation, great videos, because we think that it's very, very important to document our stuff as best as we could, because live the piece will see, I don't know, 1,000 people at most, and then you can publish it and it will live on online, and everybody can see it. So the one on the left is the Spirala. So it was a 35 meters long ball track that was transforming sound. You could record your sound at the top of the staircase, and then the ball fell through the track, and it was transformed onto the speakers that were on each floor. It was 4 floors. I think it was 50 meter high, so the sound was traveling with the ball Also, there were some sensors that were tracking the ball, and there was a light trail. Crazy stuff done 2 years ago, I think,
But
in
all the
Szczecin Philharmonics.
sorry, all these projects have videos online that people can
Yes.
find through your website. So we're gonna put a link on to your website in the comments as soon as we added the video. It's a fantastic portfolio. Please.
Yeah, I decided to put the pictures only because all the videos are at least 2 minutes long, and it would take too much time.
Yeah.
So the one in the middle is a piece about Polish experimental radio studio, which was pretty avant-garde place for making electronic music in the 50s and 60s. They were making electroacoustic music using tape loops and similar electronic devices that they were designing at there.
Yeah.
So this one is inspired by the studio. We have oscillators, we have tape loops, so and a touch screen. So we wanted to introduce the way electronic music was made there to younger generation. So we used the known device, the touchscreen, and we make something that allows visitors to create notation, a musical score using graphical notation. So instead of notes, you can use drawings. It was also inspired by one person from the studio, Bogusław Schaefer, that he just invented a whole language of describing music for the people at the studio to perform. So it's like no notes for musicians, just graphical icons for a technical person in the studio to perform. So it was very, very interesting. I recommend you to look into it because the music is quite harsh and really strange, but it has something to it.
Nice.
Okay, so the last project is Quantum of Peace. This is the project we got the Cannes Lion for, and this is an installation for Warsaw Uprising Museum. So it's basically a data visualization using bullet shells. So we got this pane that has magnets underneath. So we did 7-segment displays using magnets that were catching the falling shells.
Oh, nice. So
yeah, this was very, very heavy, and I love the effect it had, the sounds. The numbers were getting my friend Krzysztof,
yeah.
panGenerator, and he's saying
supporters.
Yeah. So that was data visualization in a way that made you think. I hope. So onto the main course. So the wall of sound.
Those were really nice appetizers. Really appetizers.
Yeah. You can see more of our projects on our website. So this is the one that made Ubi contact us. This is the wall of sound that was done in 2019 in Katowice. So there is a festival called Katowice Street Art. So they are basically focused on murals, graffiti, stuff like that. But the edition last year was about music. So we try to connect both of those worlds. So this is like a graffiti piece, but with electronics, interaction, and sound. So for the opportunity to make the nerd alert, I will talk about some internals.
Please do.
So there were 2 kinds of PCBs. We learned on the way. We learned how to make custom PCBs. and we love it. And this is like the big step up for us. And we love the aesthetics of bare PCBs. They're like, this installation consists mostly of bare PCBs, which is basically what we love these days. There are two kinds of boards, two separate PCBs. The bigger ones, the nodes, that have not potentiometers, encoders in the middle, and the one that connect them, the links. So the bigger ones are basically like an Arduino Uno. They have Atmega 328 on them. They have an encoder and like cheap Chinese. Okay, the baby woke up. Sorry. And they have also the very cheap Chinese ISD 1820 chip that allows sound recording and playback. Yeah. So how it worked? You could push the encoder, and you could record the sound, and then turning the encoder around, you could select the active link, and when you press the encoder slowly, just like once, quickly, it released the sound, and then the active link was activated, and the trail passed through it and activated the next node that had a different sound. And this is how it looks close. So this is the encoder on the left, and the thing here, it's the brain, the Atmega 328, and lots of NeoPixels. Very, very simple PCB, and
but you
did the job.
You guys really put a lot of effort into PCB design, because the PCB is basically the artistic part, because you have like visual arts, which is rendered by lights, and the PCB themselves, they create the structure of your piece, and then you have the music and the effects that are created by it. So it's incredibly important, and the way that you guys render it with basically like glass fiber coated in black is very spectacular.
Yeah, we are huge fans of Wes Lee. Yeah, who's not, probably? His PCBs are like works of art, and we're not there yet, but we are trying to chase the master.
Yeah, you know that the first Arduinos, like Massimo was mentioning this a few episodes ago, that basically the first Arduino was meant to be rectangular, but then David just jumped in and says, no, this is too ugly. It has to, and that's why it has the traditional shape.
Yeah,
like that we all kind of acknowledge. I have a quick video of this installation. Do you mind if I show it?
Sure.
Okay, it should work. I'm going to try this for everyone. Go. Wow.
Yeah, that's why we make videos of the installation, because it's sometimes very hard to explain how it works. It's the video does the job better.
It makes a lot of sense. All right. Do you have any more slides or?
Just one.
Yes. So if you want to get in touch with panGenerator, you just write an email to contact@panGenerator. Go to their website. It's full of beautifully crafted content. I'm so happy that I could have them as guests. So I'm going to bring back Benedetta, who's been nodding behind the scenes.
So they're so gorgeous. I mean, not only the interaction is really thoughtful, but they're so pretty.
They're really pretty. So let's, so Krzysztof is basically, I told you it's very hard to do.
Yeah, it's not
So Chris is our guest. The discount code is Poland. Whatever you order in the next 24 to something hours, it's not free, of course, but you got a discount. Maybe it's free shipping. And if your country has free shipping, maybe it's something else. Maybe it's an autograph by Benedetta, you'll get something. So once again, if you want to come to the show, let's bring our other guest in. We hope you stay with us, Giulia, because we felt bad when you dropped. Oh, let me remove this from Chris' face. Once again, so as soon as we have some time, the small team is gonna write some information in the description of this video. Please leave us your comment. We really look forward to doing this better. Let's see if we have some questions, like a quick Q&A you see, like from behind the scene, Giulia was saying so beautiful. But it's like, it's not that we're here to praise each other, but we're super proud of the guests that we bring in. So let's see if there's comments or questions about this stunning project from Andrea Riquetta. Andrea Riquetta is our head of the Pro business unit. So thank you, Andrea, for following us. Katarina, she already told us that it was a good project. And Ivan, I think this one was already brought up. So the wall of my dreams. Sorry, Benny?
I'm just curious to know if there's any new projects in the pipelines for both of you.
Giulia?
Okay. Well, my current project is Alma, which now it's developing in many things. So Alma is this biosensor for pH, but I realized that probably the major part behind is the educational part. So how I can really help women to take care of their own body through technology and to become aware of what is happening down there. So let's say that probably that one is gonna englobate a lot of more things. So I'm just like floating with many different projects so far, but let's see.
Very nice. And Chris?
We have basically 2 or 3 projects, like work in progress. One is for Copernicus Science Center, one is for Chinese airports, and one is for chocolate factory.
Ooh.
All right.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
These people have a lot of stuff cooking, like where do you find the time? Chris, we know you don't sleep because you have a child, so
yeah,
you probably don't sleep.
It's hard. I'm like resting at work.
Yeah, I know.
Giulia, you also seem to be incredibly active. There's a lot going on. I really hope that we can give you a tiny window, because we are noticing that our audience in the women is kind of starting to increase, and we're super happy because for me, for Benedetta, and probably for Giulia, we've been lucky enough to be working with people of every every species, like aliens and elves and women and men, and we have all these different people in our lives. But some people think that electronics and engineering and stuff is like you gotta be like a dude with a beard, otherwise it won't work. So it's amazing to see what you guys do. Thank you so much. I just want to give a toast.
Yeah, we should toast.
And actually, well, before we toast, we are Italian, Chris, maybe you don't know this, but we basically do this thing, which is saluti a casa. So we say hi to somebody at home. So Giulia, do you want to say hi to somebody?
Hi to all my friends, which I stalk her with the YouTube link to follow me. So cheers.
Very nice. I am next, by the way, so I'm going to be following you. Chris, do you have somebody to, panGenerator?
Yeah, of course. All of my team, three great people that fill my days with problems, but also with joy.
All right, fantastic. So once again, tonight's discount code and our production says that it's valid for 24 hours. Wait, let me see if I can put all of us like this. So 24 hours, there's a discount. I don't exactly know what it is. Go there, find it out. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Benedetta, for having me be a co-host.
It was great.
I really hope that Massimo feels better very soon, because I don't want to be here next week. Not because I want to be a guest the week after. So let's give it away. I'm going to be at some point a guest, and I'm going to talk about the projects I did before Arduino.
Yeah.
So cheers, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.